And welcome to the Town Team Mortgage Show with Zach Schwartz and Barry Sterner. I'm lesson number 12007. Barry, why don't you say hello to us so I can make sure your mic's working?
Hello, hello, hello.
There you go. It is working. Um, so
That's great.
we weren't here last week because I was taking care of Cindy, who got the LASIK surgery. You know anyone that's gone through that, Barry?
You're going in and out on my end.
Oh, um,
Now you're out.
I'm out. I'm in.
Zach, you
Um,
there?
yeah, I can hear
Now
you.
you're in.
I
Yeah.
can hear you. I can hear you.
I couldn't hear
Um,
you. Yeah.
so you know the
Right.
LASIK surgery, though, right?
Sure.
Um, basically for the day afterwards, like she couldn't open her eyes. So, leaving that appointment, I'm like walking her along the street like Mr. Magoo and, you know, getting her getting her head into the car. Um, couldn't open her
So you could have
eyes.
walked her into anywhere, huh?
I could have left her on the street.
You could have sent
Based
her anywhere.
based on the amount of complaining I dealt with over the weekend, yeah, maybe should have just left her there. Um, but worked out for her because now she's seeing 2020. So mazel tov to her.
It's a good
Uh,
thing.
um, but this isn't an eyesight podcast. This is a mortgage, real estate, and finance podcast. And I'm going to bring up a scary chart right now, which is the 10-year treasury. Um, it's trading above 4.5%, Barry. Um, does that scare you like
And
it's
the 30
scaring
years,
me?
the 30 years over 5 now. So 30
Uh,
years over 5. There was a 20-year auction yesterday that did not go very well. So I don't know. They're not too the bond vigilantes are not too happy with the physical responsibility that's being shown in Washington D.C. That's for sure.
the vigilantes, it's
That's physical with
like
that's physical with an
Batman.
F.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Well,
Batman there.
back when I traded in the '90s, when I traded bonds, that's the vigilantes were, everybody would watch them all the time. They could move markets very easily, and you're seeing it right now that our deficit keeps going up, and the new bill seems to add more and more debt to our already tremendous debt load. So I don't know. I you know
But when you're
I
talking about these bond vigilantes, I mean, isn't the bond market so huge that a handful of people can't?
it's not a handful. It's people who are buying bonds. If they're going to own bonds long term, they want a higher interest rate. It's really that simple.
I mean, I'm gonna blow it up here, and I'm just gonna go to a 1 month, and this is the highest. You know, when we were back at the end of February here, we were looking, you know, at like 4.1, 4.2, and we were all giddy, um, backing it up a little bit more, and now we're back to this 4.5 range. And whereas before we were talking about um support levels, down there, and it's like, oh, if it gets below there and it hits 4, and maybe we're going to see 375. What do you see is our potential worst case here at 4.5? Is this gonna Could
You're
this
talking
go
about
to
on the
on
10
the
year.
10-year? Could this go to
Well,
5%?
well,
Could it?
the next spot is 4.78, I think.
Okay.
4.78 is the next spot really to test. So I mean, let me see. I'm looking at it right now on air. Actually, the next
I mean,
spot
I saw 478
is,
back in like January. Back in January, we had some 478.
I'm
Um,
sorry, 4.6 is the next area here. That's
Okay.
that next little hump over to the left. Yeah.
When you're describing it like camels there, right?
Yeah, the
Um,
little hump to the left. Well, that's the way the market goes. It tests different areas to see if it can, take those different areas out. I just Here's the problem with these higher rates, unless somebody knows something else. I mean, CPI right now and all the inflation numbers are looking better. So we don't really have really bad inflation at the moment. And
but it's
and
because
we
there's so much that goes into it. You talk CPI, but then there's also job numbers, and there's trade deficit, then there's, you
The job
know,
numbers the job numbers look really good. I don't think the trade deficit, anyone's really worried about it. I mean, I think this is strictly right now the amount of debt, that needs to be covered,
do you think it has anything to
every week.
do with I think it was Moody's downgrading
No,
US
that
debt?
that's that was nothing. No, that had
I
nothing
mean,
to do
I
with
don't
anything.
know
All the rest
if a security is rated more poorly,
Stop,
I need
stop,
a
stop.
higher yield.
All the other rating companies had already downgraded the US years ago. Moody's was the last one. That was nothing. That was absolute nothing. They were just the last one. That's old news.
Gotcha.
Everybody knows what we're printing right now and
So
problems.
I got a phone call from my sister yesterday.
She wants to borrow money?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
She has a lease expiring end of July, and she wanted to know if this is a good time to buy. She's looking at a condo in Chicago. What would you have told her? I don't want to spoil what I told her.
I mean, for me, it's always a good time to buy because renting is a waste of money, in my opinion. And I don't think you can build any equity in your life
By
from
definition,
the real estate side by renting, obviously.
by definition, you can't. But here's what I told her. I told her that yeah, rates are high, but there's no, they may go even higher. Um, real estate values, at least condos in Chicago, they didn't have that massive COVID appreciation. So I don't see necessarily massive depreciation in those values. Um, so what I told her is, okay, why don't you look at the rental market for a day or two? Find me, 1 to 3 rental properties that are something you could see yourself living in, and then we compare those to condos that you could buy. And then it's a simple math equation because you take all those intangibles of like, yeah, you can paint the walls or you could take a sledgehammer to the walls on a place you own. Um, but we can see what is your monthly rent payment going to be, at least for 1 year, versus what your mortgage payment is going to be. Um, and at least right now with the Chicago rental market, that's been going up year over year. Um, and basically,
You're talking about the prices
the
of renting
price
has been
of
going up.
renting has been
Yeah.
going up. And with her, you know, the type of place she was going to want to rent, ballpark 25, 2,600 a month. And I was showing her, you know, here are some places you're in the door, taxes, insurance, HOA, about 3,000 a month. And yes, it's a little bit more expensive out of the gate, but that's the good thing about a fixed rate, an amortization schedule, um, because as time goes on, she would be building equity in the property, whereas you get nothing in rent. And that 2,600 a month she'd spend this year on rent could be 28, 2,900 the next year, 31, 3,200 the following year. Whereas you lock in a fixed rate mortgage and um, you build that equity. But I said there's no right answer because none of us have that crystal ball. But it's always worth doing that comparison because I said, okay, yeah, if the place you wanted to rent was going to be $2,000 a month and buying it is now going to run you $4,200 a month, okay, maybe rent a little bit. But at least in the Chicago condo market, um, there isn't that vast discrepancy in what your monthly payment is going to be. So it always makes sense to do the comparison. I'll bring up, what I had her sign up for, townteammortgage.com, and you can go to HomeBot, what's your home worth if you already own, but also where do you want to buy? And you type in Chicago, Illinois. It doesn't want to show us that because it's a third party cookie. There we go. Chicago, Illinois. And, yeah, you're going to have to give us your email address, but bring it up there. There you go. It gives
But we're
you,
paying, but we're
it,
paying for HomeBot, so we got to get something out of you.
we are paying for HomeBot. You are not, but
That's what I
it's
just said. We are paying for HomeBot.
so detailed market analysis, um, homes, how quickly they're selling, um, what people are paying, how long would it take to buy? Um, there's so much more if you unlock that free report provided by Zach Schwartz and Barry Sterner of Town Team Mortgage. It's incredible. But like, same thing on our website. Um, we've got free mortgage calculators. We've got um, you can apply now, free mortgage consultation, learn more about purchases, refinances, cash out, debt consolidation, home equity. We've got lots of information if you go to the website. And then one other thing, did you know the credit bureaus double dip on your information? Because every time that we do a credit pull for people, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, we pay them money, but you
And they
can
saw
go
your name.
exactly. So you can go to optoutprescreen.com and sign up and basically opt out of that. So strongly recommend doing that. But again, that is all at townteammortgage.com.
Well, let's talk about buying a house a little bit more because, and I know your sister probably won't listen to this, but I've never met her, so maybe she will. Here's the thing about buying a house or your
Or a
first
condo.
condo, house, whatever. When I
We don't
say
want to
house, I mean condo.
discriminate on property type.
Doesn't matter what you're saying, what I'm saying. Buying a place to live in.
Yep.
Number one thing that I always did, and unfortunately, most of the people buying now um, are not very smart about this part. You don't want to buy something that someone else has put into perfect condition. I mean, everybody who calls us, your sister's worried about the price going down.
And what do you mean by perfect condition? Because I
It's the same
question
thing.
that. It looks more like perfect condition from photographs. But when you're
Well,
talking
no, you're
about
because
the
it's the same
handiwork,
thing that you went in and bought, and obviously you got lucky that prices appreciated a lot. I have never bought a house or a condo or a rental unit or anything else that was in really good condition. My job, I felt as a buyer, because I was scared, like your sister is, and everybody else who calls
Very
about prices
Sterner
going down.
scared?
I always wanted to buy something that I could improve. Meaning, if I was going to buy something, something could be painted, the floors could be changed, the carpeting, the countertops, and all the rest. When all of you are out there right now and you're thinking to yourself, oh, these prices are really high, I guarantee you there's a condo in downtown Chicago. In fact, I'm sure there's thousands of condos in downtown Chicago that still have pink toilets and pink bathrooms and have linoleum floors that are cracked and all the rest. And if
What's
you
wrong
would
with
just
pink?
go in and try to fix those items slowly, you don't have to do it quickly, instead of running in there and saying, "Oh my God, this has the perfect countertops, it has the perfect bathroom and all the rest." Well, the guys like me who fixed it up, we're getting premium pricing for that. You're not getting a deal on any of those units.
Yeah. Um,
It's
Barry,
not
you're
happening.
yeah, but the other thing is the people like you that are buying it, you're maybe throwing, 10, 15, 20 grand to fix it up while you're going and turning around and listing the property for sale for 100 grand more.
At least 4 to 1, exactly. At least 4 or 5 to 1 I have to make on my money in order to be in the business. Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, so
And all these things that I'm talking about right now are cosmetic looking. This has nothing to do with that the plumbing's bad, or the, what do you want to say, or the roof's really bad, or the windows are really bad. I'm not talking about those big items. I'm just talking about cosmetic items. Specifically, I'll tell you one of the big ones, and I think I've told this story before.
yeah.
When I bought my first townhouse in the South Loop, I walked in there, and the person living there had, I don't know, cats, and there was the smell of cat urine all over the house, and he was selling it himself, and he had all the windows closed. There was no way he was selling that particular townhouse, at the number he wanted, because anyone who walked in there, this was well pre-COVID, before we even knew that there were masks to wear. I mean, you needed a gas mask to go in there, and it was a great condo. I ended up buying it too, and I simply removed all the carpeting, aired out the place, and I think I made 20 or 30 thousand dollars by opening windows and pulling carpet out. I mean, these are the things you got to look at right now, especially with the market. I know, Zach, you told your sister that the market hasn't gone up, but how many years ago did you buy your condo?
2016.
Okay, so you're looking at 8 years now, almost 9 years. And what percent has your condo doubled in value, or where's it at?
Hell no. Hell no. It hasn't doubled in value. Condos aren't like
Okay,
that.
so what percent
Um,
approximately has it gone up
I can't do
in ten,
math.
9 years?
Let's see here.
Approximately 20%, 30%.
416 minus 420. Um,
Give the folks an
uh,
example.
10%.
10%? Okay.
10%.
And have you put money into your condo fixing it up?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing like that I would sell it with. I put money into like
Did you paint the
s-
walls?
s- no. I
No.
put I put money into speakers, television, um,
Yeah, but you're taking all those items with you.
exactly. So
Yeah.
nothing in terms of the value,
Okay.
because I'm gonna leave it probably to the
And
next
why
per
do you think that your condo unit has only gone up 10%? What do you believe that it's kind of had a ceiling on it?
comps in the building and condos in
No, I'm
Chicago.
saying, why do you think that area of Chicago where you're at has not gone up more? Because obviously the rest of the country has gone up tremendously.
Well, because condos are a different breed, and we talk supply and demand. There's been more supply of condominiums that have come online, um, commercial space, some of which has been converted into condominiums. when a few years ago, I saw, 8 cranes outside my window, all building new condo buildings. Next door to me, a new condo building. So the supply and demand of condos is much different than your single family housing market because you can't build on top of a single family house and sell that to somebody else generally. Whereas in when it comes to condos, the sky's the limit. Um, so there is generally um, a better equilibrium of supply and demand. Because I would say right now, if you look at the suburbs of Chicago,
So they're
there
still building
is
a lot of condos around your area.
they are, they are, and that keeps the prices um, kind of steady. But I'm not. I didn't buy my property as an investment. If I was looking to invest, I would have, you know, invest in the stock market or in hindsight Bitcoin. I was looking at my condo as a place to own. And I don't have that anxiety every year of, oh no, my lease is increasing. Oh no, the owner wants to move his sister in law into the property. I have to find a brand new place to live and get movers. Um, I've been here almost 10 years. I love it. Um, I bought
You're going in and out on my end here. I don't know about
No, you're
the
good on
YouTube
my
thing.
end and excellent connection on YouTube. Um, but I'm on the top floor. I've got a fire exit
Yeah, I
right
don't
in my
know.
bedroom. Um, so, you know, someone could be screaming bloody murder in the stairwell at the fire exit. Um, and they could be screaming bloody murder and I'll be sound asleep because I wouldn't be able to hear them. um let's take a quick look at the broader
So you
markets.
got you got good windows at least.
Yeah, there we go. So stock market today looking, even but in the green. That's not bad. S&P up a little bit. Dow is up a bit. um and then we've got, I'd be remiss to forget this coming up, Memorial Day weekend. You got any big plans, Barry?
I do not have many big plans. We're not having a Memorial Day usual bash this year because of the bar mitzvah in a couple weeks. So I don't have any plans. Got baseball tournaments.
Yeah. Oh, I'm busy. I'm busy dieting to get ready for that bar mitzvah there because I need a pair of pants I'm gonna fit into.
Yeah.
If you can hear me or
You're
not.
going in and out on my side. I don't know how the YouTube feed's going, but coming over here, you're
YouTube feed
cracking up
is
all the
YouTube feed's
time when you're
great.
talking. So
It's Microsoft Teams right now. I wonder
oh,
if
okay.
Microsoft is having a
Oh, you're seeing the same thing on your end that you can see on your end that it's going in and out
yeah. Yeah,
on
Microsoft
Teams.
Microsoft 365 is having some server issues here. Um and I check out here, downdetector.com, and yeah,
That would make sense.
lot of downtime there. So Memorial Day, it's a day that is one where we remember um, the veterans that lost their lives while serving their country. Personally, though, I want to extend it to all of our veterans, whether they did lose their lives or not. All of you who have served this country in the military force, whether it's the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Space Force, the reserves, the Coast Guard. Thank you for your service. Uh, got a plug that we do VA loans, and we are the best at it.
We have
Uh,
not had a lot of VA calls in a while, so if you are doing a VA loan, 100% financing, still available on those VA loans with, and it's, you don't have to have perfect credit either.
yep.
So anybody who's a veteran who's looking to buy, that's the best, generally speaking, it's the best program available.
Yep, and that's the official definition for Memorial Day. Unofficial is it's the first day of summer.
Well, right now, the last couple of days, it's felt like winter every time
Did
I
you
go
get
outside.
caught? Did you get caught in that dust bowl?
I wasn't there. Stacy took Reed to, I don't know, maybe Schaumburg. They're playing in, and yeah, there was a big dust ball
Did
here.
they
I mean,
call the game
all the
or
everyone's car full of dirt here around the
yeah.
suburbs. Everybody had
Well, I'm
dirt on their car.
lucky
Yeah.
because I got home with Cindy right before all of that stuff started, and you can't even smoke, after the LASIK surgery because like that irritates the eyes. The dust would have been awful. Um, it looks like science fiction though. They let me come back to kind of like watch it get done, Barry, and it is like the eyeballs are like jello, and they're literally like slicing a circle around your eyeball and then like using tweezers to like peel that off. Can you
It's a
imagine?
laser.
Yeah, it's a laser. Um, but I don't know if you've seen any of the Final Destination movies, but I didn't want to show Cindy. There's one of them where the woman
And
is getting LASIK surgery. The doctor gets called out.
her eye falls out.
Her eye gets like burned in. She starts like trying to cover it with her hands. It starts burning through her hands. She finally like breaks out with her one eye, like, you know, like like bleeding or whatever. And you're like, oh,
Yeah,
she escaped it. And then
that's
she trips on something in the doctor's office, falls out like the fourth story window onto a car. So that's LASIK for you. Um, Thanks again for tuning in. Happy Memorial Day. If you find any good sales, I love sales. My favorite website, Slick Deals. Um,
Well, let me write that down, Slick. Go ahead.
yeah, slickdeals.net,
Why is that so good?
because it's like all the people that uh
Oh,
that are like me that like deals, they
yeah.
go and they find,
Is
these
it
deals.
refurbished stuff or new stuff?
Refurb, new stuff, coupon
Everything.
codes. So like right now, um, $200 uh
Oh,
PlayStation 5
yeah, because you got
extreme
to have another
controller,
PlayStation.
129. $1,600 Samsung curved monitor, $1,600 now for
Oh, that's a cool thing. That how much is that
seven
monitor?
720,
Oh, that's a
49
cool
inch
monitor.
curved
Yeah,
monitor. Um,
that's a cool one.
77-inch LG OLED, $3,700 retail, 1620. Um, you know,
Any
uh,
tariffs on that stuff?
not yet, not yet. Um, $800 portable power station, 1,800 watts, usually 800 bucks, 450 on Amazon.
Buy that for Alec.
Yeah, exactly. Chubby's Men Performance Golf Polo, $60, 15 at Kohl's right now. Um, so yeah, there is a lot of uh it's my favorite deal for for deals, my favorite website for deals. So make a comment below if If you find
They
a
should
deal,
sponsor, they need to sponsor us with all that, free publicity you just gave them.
you know what? I want we give people the best service and the best rates and the best closing costs when it comes to mortgages. I want them to get good deals on everything else as well. Um, so I appreciate you tuning in. Happy Memorial Day to everybody else out there. And townteammortgage.com. Purchase, refinance.
312-896-2100.
There you go. Text message rates apply. Um, so have a great weekend, everybody. We will talk to you soon.